Welcome back to the Building Insight podcast. I'm your host, Quentin Glenn, alongside my co-host, Amy Mareko.
Hello.
Very special guest today. He is a multi-8-figure business owner. He's a business and fitness coach. He's the owner of our company, Mr. Jason Watson.
Thank you. Glad to be here again.
Welcome.
Good
yeah.
to have you
Two
back.
times, two
Yes.
or three times.
First repeat guest here as well.
You must be really special.
So let's hop into it, Jason.
Yep.
Last time we talked a lot about mindsets and habits and like kind of how you got here. Today I want to focus on what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Obviously you've forged that path for yourself a number of times. I have a history with that as well. So kind of just kicking us off, tell me what entrepreneurship means to you.
Well, for me, it means creating your own legacy. Creating your own roadmap in life, right? That's why I started the business in the first place, right? So it's someone that's got a clear vision on where they're going. It's someone that's very resilient. I would say that's probably the number one thing, right? Because as you know, it's difficult. You go through a lot of ups and downs. It never ends, right? There's always going to be the highs and lows. So I think a lot of people aren't cut out for entrepreneurship. That's why you see most people start a business and then they get out and they go back to work for someone else.
Right.
Because they don't have the resilience to actually stick through that. And a lot of that, I think, has to come with, for me personally, of why you're actually in business. Like, what's the main purpose of the business? Is it just purely for money, or do you actually love what you do? And I think a lot of people get into a business because of the money instead of actually loving what they do. So when I started the flooring business, I actually loved putting in floors. I had a passion for it. And now what I'm doing with the coaching, I have a passion for it. And if I didn't have a passion for it, I would have quit over and over again because they're both difficult. You go through those hard times. So I think you need, that's the thing you need, is like to have that purpose and driven individual that's willing not to stop when it gets hard, resilience, someone that's consistent. To me, that's what that's about. And being able to build a team and inspire other people to realize they're capable of doing more, right? Which is leadership, right? Sharing that vision, getting you to believe that you can accomplish more than what you actually believe that you can accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, not every great idea is a business, right? Like, it takes the right type of person, somebody who's willing to kind of like own the risks. And you're talking about the highs and lows. Like, even when you're going through the highs, like you're trudging through the lows at the same time. So like the highs are never as high as you think, from the outside looking in, that they appear, right? You always have that weight and that pressure that's thrown upon you. So, through your journey, 20, 25 plus years being a business owner, talk about, how you dealt with those highs and how you dealt with those lows, and kind of what the attributes are that, would make somebody successful in being able to navigate those.
Well, again, I think it comes down to like how bad you want the thing that you're actually going after, and having that resilience to get through that. And again, what's the purpose of you doing what you're doing anyway? Who are you trying to help? Who are you trying to serve? And that's, for me, that's, when I started, I needed to make money, but I actually loved the craft and what I was doing. And I had big vision, big dreams of building, the company as we are today and still growing. So, for me, that's, I go back to the resilience, like just having a passion for what you're doing, wanting to serve other people, and being resilient.
Yeah.
I think too, sometimes having the lows make you appreciate the highs a little bit more. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, there's no highs without lows. There's no
Exactly.
success without failure, which failure really you need to quit to fail. But like you have to go through those hard times in order to realize like the good times. There's nobody that's successful that's not going through, that has not been through a bunch of trauma. Like no one is doing that. That's been in business for 10 plus years has just been, this has just been, rainbows and sunshine. Like that's just not the case. Like you're going to go through a lot of hard stuff, and it never ends. There's always something going on. The more you grow and the more success you get, the more people come after you, is the other part of it, right?
More
You
money,
see
more
that.
problems.
More money, more problems. Like that's just the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
You put yourself out there, and that's why you got to be who you bring onto your team, and the people you're going to get close to, which is probably the biggest lesson I've learned over the past 30 years that I've just recently realized is like the people that you surround yourself with, that the team who you actually confide in, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to find those people that that you can do that with, that don't stab you in the back later, right? And that comes down to, again, how do you hire people? How do you know how to do that, right? And so I've learned a lot over the years, because I used to hire for people if you could just do the job. Didn't think about values, didn't think about, how you treated your wife or how you were with your kids. Like, that never came into thought until, probably the last 5 years, probably, started paying more attention to that. And now that's everything. Like, I would have never hired some of the people that used to work for us, the Jason today. I just see things way differently. I would see right through it. And before, I didn't see through it, because I just was focused on the thing, like, can you do the job? Can you show up? Do you breathe? Okay, good.
Do you breathe?
Right. And that's it. I mean, and that's how a lot of businesses start. And that's why most businesses stay small. They don't know how to build teams and hire the right people. And they're constantly going through people.
Well, and your failure takes different shapes, like as you're growing your business, right? Like, it's not always like I just lost a bunch of money, right? Like, you're talking about hiring people, like, misses on hiring, like, that can be a complete failure for your business. But it's about how you react coming out of that will really allow you to, like, set your business on a different trajectory. It's like, are we going to stay the same, or are we going to keep hiring the people who can do the job and can breathe, or are we looking for those different type of attributes? You talked about, like, your transformation over the past 5 years, kind of with that thought. Talk to me, like, what goes into your hiring decisions now? Like, what exactly is it that, as an entrepreneur, you're looking for as you're building your team out? Like, what are those, like, intangible assets?
Well, to me now, what I'm looking for, is how that person lives their life. Like, if they're married, they have kids, like, what do you do? Do you have values in your life? Do you have a mission for your family? Like, I'm really, I want to know about that piece before I want to know about the skill set, which is the opposite of what I did before. And that's what you do now, is like, you figure out the skill set piece. I'm getting on the phone with them. They've already qualified themselves for that way, but I want to know the person individually. I want people that are around me that care about their families and their marriage and their kids and themselves, and that's the kind of people I want to surround myself with. We had this conversation the other day with someone I was coaching. He's a very successful guy, but, like, for me personally, like, I'm so clear now, and, like, super clear on who I'm going to spend time with and who I'm not. And if people are not aligned with where I'm going, with the same values and how I operate and the same standards or similar standards, I'm not spending time with those people. I get people every day wanting to meet for coffee. They want to do this. They're sending me a message, and, and I used to just do those types of things, and you're just doing a bunch of busy work and going nowhere. But when you get laser focus on the goal and the mission, and you put guardrails up, and then if people don't align with that, you can't let them in, because it's a distraction. And most people are distracted all day. Business owners, everybody, like, they're distracted. You know what I mean? Because they're just really not clear, and they let the wrong people around them in their circle. Yeah. And to me, like, I'm so clear on not wasting my time with certain people, and that doesn't make me a bad guy. It just means I'm clear where I'm going.
Well, you just know what your standards are.
And it's a distraction to do anything else, and that's why people don't get the life that they want, whether that's someone inside of a company, outside. It's like, if you're not clear where you're going, and you don't know how you don't have values in how you operate, you'll just let everybody, all kinds of people come into your world, which creates problems.
Well, and it takes you away from the things that you're trying to do, like the bigger picture that you're trying to accomplish. Like, you're putting out this fire over here when you should be focusing in over on this thing over here. And if you just hired people to to your point, who meet your standards, who have the core, have their own personal core values that align with your core values, then you don't have to worry about what's going on over here, right? You can stay laser focused on what you're trying to accomplish, and that's how the business itself moves forward.
Yeah, and anything that's not taking you towards that is taking you away from it. There's no idolization. Like, you're either moving forward towards it, or you're moving away from it. There's no standing still. The other big piece too is, like, and this is coming more and more clear, is people that are obsessed. Like, I want to be around people that are obsessed. I connect with people that are obsessed. I don't connect with people that are not. That's not for everybody. And I'm figuring this out. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if someone's working close with me. Like, if they're not obsessed, like, it's okay that they're bad people. It's just my personality type, and the way I'm driven, the way I operate. I need that around me. That's how you're going to grow something big, right? That to me, it's like, you got to have people obsessed. So I'm looking for that obsession.
Right.
When I'm bringing people on now, with the new company or whatever, it's like I'm looking for people that are obsessed with what they're doing, not just the job. Are you obsessed with what you're doing?
In my opinion, I mean, and you know, I'm interested in your thoughts on this. Like, obsession is just something that's like inherently in you. Like, you know, I don't care if it's about, you know, your work, your family life, you know, your hobbies outside of work, what you do on the weekends. You know, obsession is wildly different than motivation, right? And people get those things confused a lot, right? It's like, you know, I'm used to be a headhunter, right? You know, people would write on their resumes, highly motivated individual, you know, this, that, and the other. But, you know, kind of what to your point that you're talking about, like, I don't need the motivation. Motivation ebbs and flows, and it comes and goes. But like when you're obsessed, it's all you think about.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you're at dinner, you're talking to your wife or you're talking to your kids about what it is that you're doing at work. Like, and when you're at work, you're talking about, you know, your wife and kids at home. And, you know, I think that piece is like, that's one of the first things that I look for when I'm hiring somebody. It's like, is this the type of person who will fall in love with my business? Is this is this the type of person who will fall in love with our mission? Because if not, you know, it's harder to retrain somebody. It's harder to go out and find somebody else to do the thing when that person, you know, gets sick and tired or has a bad day. Like, you know, it's an obsession that allows you to keep going through even when there's the failures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, obsession, you just can't get it out of you. You can try, like, you just, doesn't matter what you do. You go to the shower with it, you're in the bathroom with it. Like, it's everywhere. You can't, you're on vacation with it. It's just who you are. And so that's why it's so important. Like, if you're around people like that, like-minded, it's normal. But what's not normal is when you're around people that are not like that, for me. And that's why I don't connect with that. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, looking at how people, like, you talk about the resume, like, how do they live as a family? Like, how do they operate? You know, tell me what you do or how you are. Like, I can see how you are. I can see if you take care of yourself. I don't have to ask you. I can see that. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, how does someone live their life? Are they living at a different standard, you know, than others?
Right.
You know,
Well,
are they striving to win? Are they, you know, disciplined individuals? You know.
Well, it's funny because you know, when you were interviewing me, you know, you flew from Charlotte to Arizona. You brought your wife. You wanted to have dinner with me and my fiance, and you know, like, that was our. You know, we had met before. We had talked, like, but you know, I didn't realize at the time that, like, that was really my interview, right? And I've interviewed thousands of people, like, highly qualified, this and that, whatever. Ever since that moment, like, once I kind of came to that realization, now when I interview people, that's the first thing I talk about with them. It's like, tell me about your wife. Tell me about your kids, right? And we had a guest on a couple weeks ago on this podcast. Like, I asked him about his wife. Like, he darn near started
He
crying.
got choked up. It was so cute.
And
I was like, I want to meet her now. Like, she's a legend.
But, you know, again, to your point, it's like, I see that, and it's like, that's the kind of guy that I want to do business with. That's the kind of guy who, you know, I want on my team. And anything less, like, again, to what you're talking about earlier, it doesn't meet my standards, right? You talk a lot
so
about,
true.
Yeah, man. So, like, you talk a lot about, you know, kind of on the same subject. I don't know if you coined this or you stole it from somebody, but I love it.
I probably created it, but
Probably, yeah. Not necessarily obsession, but, you know, a lot of people, you hear the term, like, work-life balance, right?
Yeah,
Right. And as an entrepreneur, like, when I was starting my business, like, that did not exist, right? It's, you know, I was on the West Coast, you were on the East Coast, you're calling me at 4 a.m. Like, my day started at 3:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? But you talk a lot about work-life integration. Talk to me about what that is. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I don't like the whole balance things. I don't think you can balance it. I think the integration, again, it goes back to if you're, you know, have a, you know, you're married, have a family, and you guys have a mission in life and vision and what you're trying to do. When you're an entrepreneur, there's seasons of life that you're going to spend more time in the business and less at home. If you're an entrepreneur and you're growing a business, it's just what it is. Like, things come up, like you got to travel, whatever it may be. And then there's times to where you're going to spend more time, with your family. But having to me, like if I couldn't talk to Allie about business and my kids about what we like, everything's about what we do. It's taking care of yourself. It's business. It's like it's calls. It's doing these things. And I just like everybody that I know, that's how they operate. And the people that operate and try to balance things are the ones that they go like this, right? Because they're doing their thing here and they're doing their thing, and they're not integrating each other. So I mean, like, the family dynamic being integrated and having clear communication and understanding that these things are going to come up. But here's the bigger picture. Here's why we're doing what we're doing, is to get to this goal. And as long as they know that and they feel a part of that and there's communication there, then that's what I mean by integration. There's going to be times where you're going to have to spend more time doing something, I mean, that's the way how I got. I mean, now it's a little bit. I have more freedom now, but like it's when you're building something, there's not much freedom. There's just not.
Yeah.
If you want something, you got to put all in. You got to be all in. There is no 90% in or 95. It's all in.
Well, and it opens up like it's a different way of communicating with your spouse too, right? Because like now you have just like that free and clear communication where I speak for Jessie. Like when I come home, I can talk to her about these things, and like she knows the people that I'm talking about, right? Like when I go to your house, and like this is something that I think you and Allie do, I mean, phenomenally, is like you guys have welcomed not just me but the whole team into your family, right? Like I go in, like Allie gives me a hug, your son runs up and he wants to pull me to the garage to show me like this cardboard box thing that he's building, and we spent it's like from an employee perspective, that is, I mean, that's a family mentality, right? But like in the family unit itself, you're just, again, you guys are on the same mission. Allie knows exactly what it is that you're after because she knows who I am, and she knows what Amy's about, and she knows who Austin's like, and you don't get that when you don't have that integration together.
Yeah. And I think too, the other part is not just the family, but the team, right? So like, we started doing more things you guys have, right? But it's like, we need to do more and more of that, of bringing people together and doing fun things and, having fun. And because that's life, right? It's like we work hard, but we also play hard together. And that's what I've learned around some of the people I'm around now, is they work extremely hard, but they also play extremely hard.
Even just our trip to Arizona was great because there was a few people that work remote or hybrid, so we don't see them as often, and they're not new, but they're newish. So they're not, So I think that opportunity to like be together and do that workout together and go to the MindCon together and all of that was huge because we were able to see each other outside of work, but also it was like we can appreciate what we are doing at work. You know what I mean? I feel like that was a really pivotal moment for our team in general, because it just really brought us tighter and got to know each other a little bit better on a different level. So
imagine doing that every month. You know how close your team would be if you were to do things like that. Like that's I think that's the integration piece too, right? It's not just the family, but it's the team and getting everybody over to your house and having people just you are family. Like you work here, you're family.
And meeting everybody else's partners too, I think is huge. Like understanding like my little quirks that I have, it's because my husband's goofy. Like we're just always goofy together, but if everyone would meet him, they'd be like, that makes sense. Like, so I think it's important too to include family and get our kids all together. We have so many kids that are around the same age. Like we really should be trying to do. It is hard though, because we're all so spread out. So making, life is busy and but I think if we can try to prioritize that a little bit more, I think that would be like, it'd be huge. It'd be so fun too.
So huge. Yes, for sure. I mean, how do you not get closer when all your kids are playing together and you're celebrating, birthdays together, or if someone's having a baby, like you're always doing something. I mean, that's what brings people together, because it's more than just work, right?
Well, and it goes back to the first thing that you said. I mean, the closer you are, when you are going through those failures and like those hard times, like you're now like you're a unit together. You are hate the term like family in business, but like you guys are like your own little family, and like you're bonding through the trauma together. Like we're having this issue on this project, and like everybody feels it not just for themselves, but for each other. Right. And then when you come up with a solution, it's not just your solution, it's everyone's solution. And, I think the camaraderie builds a lot out of that. One of the things I'm curious of your thoughts on, obviously we're growing a lot. Like how do you think we continue to maintain that even on like the rapid growth pace that we're on? Like it gets harder, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's doing more like what she said. It's like we're growing, obviously, having the right people around, the right leaders around, but incorporating more of this stuff, like making it's just like a non-negotiable. Like it's just because if we know that would bring us tighter, then why wouldn't we prioritize to do that? If we know that actually would make our team better, tighter, everybody going after the mission together harder when they're at work, because they feel like it's more than just work. Right. So I think that's probably maybe the next evolvement for us. I mean, we're doing some, but like we could obviously be doing more. We could put that in place, and like we're going to do, maybe it's just not the Christmas party. Maybe there's other times, and there's cost to that too. But is it? It's an investment into your team, so that your company stays tight and grows. Right. So it's like which way you want to look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it would help one of our core values is team first, right? So I think we already have a really good culture with that. I really do. I think our team is very hands-on. Like you were getting stuff off of a truck this morning because our procurement specialist had a dentist appointment. Like the COO is out there doing that. You know what I mean? Like very team first. But I think even more so if we were doing more of those things and bonding more, I think that would even just raise that like even higher.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I really think, or I really feel that the more that we do those types of things as not just the employee but their families, and like that dynamic is like takes it to a different level, because there's not many people, I don't know but a few that are doing that, that really encompass like the entire family, the kids, everything.
Well, the perception, I mean, and the perception from the outside is noticed too, right? Like, a client calls in, like, first of all, they can feel it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They see the presence that we have on the socials with all of that type of stuff. Like the last 3-4 people that I've hired have all made comments about like, I saw you guys, on LinkedIn or Instagram, and like, it looked like a fun place to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist without what you're talking about. So, no, I mean, it's obviously going to be a challenge as we grow, right? And, as we were talking about in the first few minutes, like there are going to be failures in that. But, the tighter we bring each other together, the easier we'll be able to run over those failures and turn them into net positives. So, kind of switching gears just a little bit, obviously you've kind of moved out of the day-to-day of the business, and that's like every entrepreneur's dream is like, let the business run without me, get the checks, make the key decisions, do the things, and it opens you up to do more. Talk to me a little bit about, like, I mean, that's the level I want to get to someday, right? Like, what are the steps as a business owner to get to that level?
It's a hard level to get to. It's scary, right? It's like when you're letting go, it's like you're giving up your baby, right? I mean, that's what it feels like. It was hard. I mean, it still is a little bit hard. It's not as hard, but, I think, it's about understanding, one, as an entrepreneur, like, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to just keep doing what you're doing? Or do you want to actually build a business that's worth something? Because if you're in it working, it's not worth anything. Not really. Right. And so I have visions of, like, if we sell the company one day, what does that look like? So we have to put these things in place in order to make sure that we're desirable for other people. Right. But, the things, obviously, to get to that point, you have to be able to build a team. I think the first thing you got to do is make sure you're building yourself. Right. Because if you're not, if you don't become, a better leader, visionary, then you're not going to attract A players to you in a way, right? So you get what you attract. Everybody, right? We get in our life what we attract to us. And so if you don't self-develop and get around the right people, get into the rooms and see how other people at a high level are operating, like, you'll never think that way, then you'll never attract that person, then you'll always stay in the hamster wheel, right? And that's what happened with me. It's like you're like, why is this happening? Why do you keep getting like the same people, the same type of people on your team? It's like they just come to you. It's like, I didn't ask for it, but like you're all here and you're all the same, right? And so like it's just you have to get better yourself in order to know what it is, what am I going for, who do I need to become in order to attract this person, right? And then you got to build a team, and you got to trust. You got to be able to let go. Most entrepreneurs don't let go, and that's why they stay stuck. The reason entrepreneurs don't grow is because of them. It's not because of everybody else. It's them. They're in the way. Just like I was in the way. Like I may be good at certain parts of the business, but now looking back out, it's like as an entrepreneur, the more you can step up and see and think clearly, and if you understand how to put the chess pieces together, you'll work less and make more money and have more time. Which who doesn't want that?
Yep.
Right.
You can have money and work and not be able to spend your money, not know who your wife is, or have a relationship with your kids. Or you can be a great leader, attract A players, build a team, free up your time, make more money, start new businesses. Like which lane you want to be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people don't think about what I just said, though. They're just thinking about, I just need to make money, or I've got to pay this guy this. Well, I could just do it myself. And I could make that, right? I've said that. You've said it too. We've all said it.
You've said it to me.
Right?
Before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like now my mindset is like, again, it's the self-debate, who, not how. Like that book changed my life. It's one of the books that changed everything for me. That's why I give it to everybody I'm coaching. I'm like, you need this book, man. Like this book will get you thinking differently. So there's nothing I do and think, how do I do it? I'm always like looking for the person. Unless it's something I want to do or I'm passionate about it or it requires my skill set. I don't want to do it. How do you find other who's in your life that you can put around you that fit a skill set that you don't have, and let them do the thing that they're best at, that lights them up, and then you'll free your time up and make more money, and you're empowering other people and you're helping other people. You know what I mean? So most of them just they stay stuck because they're just not a great leader themselves. Like they're just, they think they need to do everything. They think they need to solve all the problems. They want to be the solution because it's good for your ego. When people ask you how to figure something out and you can do it, but all you're doing is keeping yourself bogged down. And that's why you have to develop other people. Well, you can't develop and lead if you're not that.
Well, I think there's a lot of fear on entrepreneurs' sides of just like letting go, because if they take their finger off of it, they're afraid it's going to break. And that trust factor is huge.
I was just gonna say trust.
Like it's impossible for you to be in the spot that you're in without you trusting the team that you have. Right. Like if you didn't trust me, then like you'd still be living here. Right. Like you'd still be rolling into the office every single day. Right. Even if you were trying to take a step back.
Well, maybe not.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
I used to go to the office before you started everything. I used to sleep at the office.
That's so funny.
Sleep there.
Even my first day, I think you were like, I was there for like 2 hours before you even got there. You come strolling in.
Yeah.
So funny.
But no, like you're right. Entrepreneurs, like they don't trust.
Yeah.
Which is why you'll never grow. Like that is a mindset shift that they can't make.
Or you're hiring the wrong people.
It's all in the mindset. And you're just not you're not the person to attract the people. You're not a great leader if you can't get other people to do things that you don't want to do. You're just a doer.
Right.
Yep.
That's all you are. Like you're not really that. Like
me,
an entrepreneur is someone that can build something that runs without them. If they go to sleep and vacation, it still runs without you. If you have to be involved in 30 days in your business, you don't really have a business. You just have a high pressure job.
Yeah. A job that you created.
That you have to pay for your own benefits with. And you got all the stress and all the risk. Congratulations. That is not entrepreneurship to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want time. I want to build things and be creative and dream and, create things, and then help other people, build their life, during that process. Help other people win.
Yeah.
Which is what we're doing. We're trying to do a better job of that. But that's really, that's the other piece is like they're only trying to help themselves win. Most entrepreneurs just all about how much money can they make. It's not about how much money can the team make. I was the same way. It's like, how cheap can I get you to do this thing? And how many hours can I get you to work? Or you work all night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so it's just a mindset shift that they have to make. It's like, you gotta change the way you're thinking. Like if you don't change your thinking, you'll never change the actions that you're taking. And that's really why they're doers.
Yeah.
They have the wrong mindset.
they've just never done it any other way, and
Right.
that's the only way they know how to do it, and they're just gonna keep marching down that road.
Yeah, I mean it's that's what it is. They're in their own way, and maybe they don't know what they actually want out of it. You know what I mean? Like they most of us start because we need the money.
Well, I think that's a lot of it, right? Like somebody has a good idea, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to make a whole bunch of money, right? And that should never be the goal,
Right.
Right? Like, even if I mean, the flooring business is a great example. It's like you started in flooring because you were good and you were passionate about flooring. You weren't passionate about installing floors. You were passionate about the way that you made the customer feel when you did a good job. And you tried to like hit that dopamine hit over and over and over again. And then a business was born out of that because you're thinking like, how can I do this at scale?
Right.
And how can I affect more people? It was never about like, I'm just going to make a whole bunch of money installing floors. Right. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have the mindset where they're like, oh, I should start a roofing business because there's a lot of money in roofing and I can tell people how to go do the thing. And that's just a recipe for failure because the money will dry up. You'll go broke often. You're not going to know if you're going to be able to make payroll the next week. But if you have a different type of mindset, if you're focused more on like the outcome or the reason beyond the function of the business, then you're going to be able to run through and jump all over that.
Yeah, and you see a lot of entrepreneurs too is they know everything. They're the smartest people in the room, and they have to be the smartest guy in the room. Like, we know who those people are, like, right? And they never go anywhere. Like, they're the guys that never invest in themselves. They never go to. They don't have a mentor. They don't go to business groups. They're like, oh, I got it figured out. And you're still doing the same thing you're doing 20 years ago. Like, so you can spot them easily. From what they're doing. Like, because if you're around the right people. So I go back to like who you're around will determine all that. If you're around people that are at a certain level, you'll see what they're doing, and it's not that thing.
Right.
It's not any of that. They don't do it. They don't even know how to do it. They don't know how to get in their system, just like I don't. Like I was like, why do I need to know how to get my system?
Yeah.
Right. I don't even know how to get my own. I don't know how to get anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You send the guy an email.
But it's like it's a different mindset though. Like I used to have to know everything. I used to have to do everything. I wanted to control everything. I wanted you to do it my way. And that is a very hard shift to do because you're letting go of control and you have to trust people. But if you get that mindset, again, how you get that is getting new information, get around different people so you can actually learn that.
Right.
Then you make that shift and you'll see that your life actually starts to get better.
Yeah, I mean, micromanaging is like the killer of scaling, right?
It's not fun for the person, and it's not fun for you doing it.
It just raises your cortisol levels. You're stressed out. You're worried about what this person's doing over here, and then all the while, it's like if you taught and trusted, they're not going to break it. Like you got to. That's where I think like the trust is misplaced within entrepreneurs. Like you need to trust yourself that you built the system that people can work within,
right?
Not that you are the one who made this business successful, right? So teach the person how to do the thing. You're not gonna put me out of business.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing too. Like sometimes I think people are doers because it's just easier. I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to get it done. I don't have to worry about if you're going to do it right or whatever. I think it takes a little bit more time in the front end, right? To be like, okay, I'm going to pass this over to you. This is how you do it. It might take an hour for you to explain that, but then you don't have to worry about it the next time. So I think that also is like a big part of like people being a doer, but if you just take that little extra time in the front end, the back end, you're going to be great. You don't have to worry about it next time. Like they got it.
Yeah. It's quicker for you to do it now. In the long run, it's better for you if you teach someone how to do it. Right.
Yep.
And I think, that's so true. And too, a lot of entrepreneurs stay in the grind too, because they don't have the right person and they don't know how to build systems. So they when you have no systems and you're having to have to do the work manually, you're just going to be fighting all day. Like you're never going to go anywhere. And so typically that person's not able to, they're not skilled at putting systems in place. That's why you need to go hire someone that knows how to put systems and processes in place, right? Like yourself. Like I'm not going to do that. Like I know it needs to be done, but and you just keep spinning, Right. So I mean they're in their own way. They don't trust. They're not getting around the right people, and so they're They only have their own thoughts that they've had for the past, however long they've had their business, and they just stay where they're at. That's why most businesses stay stuck. I mean, there's not many businesses, like it's a very small percentage that are doing over, I don't know what the number is, very small actually. Like you think you see all these big businesses, actually very small percentage of companies that are doing big numbers.
Yeah, most businesses are run out of somebody's house in their garage. Doing
1 and 2 people,
or laying
operations,
off people.
Right, doing $150,000 a year, lifestyle type of business, but that's in my eyes, like, that's not entrepreneurship.
Right.
That's you created a job for yourself.
That's right.
Or your side hustle you can work on that full time. Like,
Never thought about it that way.
It's one of those things where, if you have that bigger picture, like if you to Jason's point, if you're laser focused about what you want on the other side, then you just need to start, right? Just start and then build it along the way. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect right now. It doesn't need to be fully figured out right now. You don't need to know who the who's are, but as long as you get started and you put faith within building those systems, you're going to turn out just fine.
Yep.
Well,
and most people don't get started. Like, they want to make it perfect, right? They want to put the perfect system in place and then never start the thing.
Well, that was my problem when I was running my business, right? Like, you were one of like 4 or 5 clients that I had, and I was like hyper fixated on your guys' business. Like, I was loving what you were doing over there, and I remember to this day, it was a Starbucks over by Jack's house, right? I was in the parking lot, and you told me like you had met all of my recruiters at this point, like they were all doing their thing. And you told me, like, I need to not be the doer. Like, I can't be the one to do all the things. Like, I forget what it was. Like, there was a problem with one of the installers that I hired for you, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, I'll jump on this. I'll take care of it. And that conversation like switched my mindset, because I'm like, yeah, if I want to get bigger, if I want my business to grow bigger, I can't be calling the subcontractor in Little Rock, Arkansas, and asking him about the quarter round that's missing, and have him call this. Like I pay people for that. I should trust Mikey to do that. I should trust and that was a really stark realization for me.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's a big one,
and those things drained you. You could not stand like those types of.
No, I don't. After 30 years, I'm like, I can't.
It literally takes your.
Do you see his face? He doesn't even want you bringing him up right now.
Seriously, just like
it drains.
You could just see his attitude go from here to just like you took it all from me today. Like
yeah. Well, when you do it for so long,
yeah.
At one point it was fun. It's fun in your 20s and 30s a little bit, because it's cool. Like, give me 10 problems to solve.
I'm the Jefe. Come on.
I'm going to run 30 jobs a day. It's fun then. Now it's like, really? It's so that's but that's involving. That's like understanding what it is that you want and getting those right people around you, and understanding the first key hire you need to make in your business, which, by the way, is an assistant. Right? That's what I told my guy. I told the guy yesterday. It's like, 2 best hires I have is right here. Like, you have to, like, the first thing you do, if you're checking all your emails and it's your business, you are backing up. The first thing you need to do is, if you don't have an assistant, you're doing any kind of revenue, you need to have one. Like, it's the greatest thing. Like, that was number 1, and then you were number 2, because number 1 freed me up to, like, actually think a little bit. Otherwise, I'm like inundated with, like, I could just keep looking at emails 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't go away, and 90% of them you don't even need. It's like I was telling a guy yesterday. He's running 4 companies. Like, well, where's your assistant? I don't have one. Well, okay, let's put that down. Like, this is the first thing we're gonna do is get you that, because you're in emails probably 50% of your day. And she'll handle it better than you in a way. He's like, well, what if they don't handle it right? I was like, I know, I understand. They might put the wrong gas in your car every now and again.
Oh, no.
But, it's like, it's that mindset, man. It's like the whole mindset, like, successful guy, but thinking he's got to handle the emails. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you start with, like, I think when we started, it's like, hey, if these 5 people email me, text me.
Yeah.
Like, anybody else, just handle it, right? Because it's at the end of the day, you gotta. This is how I started thinking too. This is when I started getting comfortable with it. I'm like, okay, if she says the wrong thing, am I going out of business? No.
I'll just blame her.
Like, it's like, no, I'm not. Like, is it worth it? Like, can she do it 75% as good as I can? And if the answer is yes, when you can get someone to do 70%, then you hire the person, right? And then you'll find out they can actually do it better, right? You know what I'm saying? And you just freed up 90% of your time.
The EA will get to know their entrepreneur as well.
100%,
like,
yeah.
I think we spend enough time together. Yeah. You told me your thought process on a lot of things. Like, here's why I did this, or here's why I said this way. And I think once you do that, I don't think you gave me your inbox until I was with you for like 3 months or something like that. Yeah. Like, so we had a little bit of time to like rev up. Would you hand it over for day one? I don't know. Get to know the business a little bit first.
Right.
Get to know the ins and outs of your entrepreneur and who you're working with. But yeah, I think that was key for you when we did that.
Like, it is the number one hire that any entrepreneur needs to make. If you do not have an assistant and you're doing any kind of, if you're checking emails more than an hour a day, you should get someone to do it. Like, you just shouldn't do it, because you should be working on the vision and bigger picture things and thinking about who do I need to put around me, like, those things, what technology we need or whatever. Like, there's better ways to use the time, and then find someone that's better at organizing your emails and building the folders and all the things that I would never do. And it's like, find someone to do that, and it frees up, like, I spent all my time, I felt like, in an email, because you're just constantly handling stuff, right? And so that just took all my time away, to where now, like, I struggle to even look at the inbox.
There's not much in there, email. Honestly.
You know what I mean?
Got
it's
it
like,
care of, yeah.
but at the same time, listen, I know that, you, and now I have you in place. Like, if I don't answer an email and it's that important, I know y'all know how to get me. You know what I'm saying? Like, text me and say, check your email.
Yeah.
You might want to look at this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you go do it, but you just, like, so assistant, and then your main guy that's running everything. It's like your integrator. It's the guy that's executing, or girl that's executing the vision for your company. If you don't have those two things, you're not going anywhere. Period. And they'll do it better than you will, which most of them will say not. Well, it's true. They'll do it better. Empower them to do the things that they're really good at. Like, you geek out on certain systems and processes, like, and flows and all that stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're
like,
probably like one of the best people at the X's and O's of the business. Like, you understand how to move pieces, and whether it's pertaining to cash flow or the team, like, I think you see the bigger picture. You're like the coach with the dry erase board doing the X's and O's on.
Right.
This is the play today. This is what we're going to do. So
he executes, right? He's really good at it, and I hated it. And I don't use computers very well, so it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? So, like, it's like finding those people, being humble enough with yourself to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Because you're not good at everything, right? And then plug those two people in, and your life will change. Period. Will there be problems? Yes. But as long as the building doesn't burn down, it's like, you got to let people mess up too. You got to make, are there decisions that are made that probably I wouldn't do? I'm sure. But again, does it really hurt the business? And if the answer is no, I let it go. Like, I literally let it go. It's like, is this really doing anything? No. Gone. Whereas before, you would just, why did he say that? Why did you write that email that way?
Part.
Why did you put an exclamation mark on that email? I mean, now it sounds like you're screaming at them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, is it really worth even your brain power thinking about that stuff? No, it's not. Not if you want to stay small.
Well, it's like you said, it's pulling you away from bigger things.
Yeah. So, that's that. But it's very difficult to do. It's hard to do.
What do you say we ended on Jason telling us how good we are?
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll cut it right there.
Okay. All right. You want me to say it again? No, but it's true. I just have that conversation. Like, this guy was like, dude, like, you gotta have an assistant. Like, it's like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And then the next, he's gonna have to have someone. I don't know who else he has, but, like, I'm imagining he doesn't have you if you don't have you. Yeah. Like, why would you? Like, this has got to be first.
Right.
In my opinion, this is first. You're second for a hire for an entrepreneur.
100%.
Because you're not ready for that if you don't have this.
Well, you don't want to bring him in and he's checking my emails.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's not. Then that doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, free the time up by doing the task, the things, right? Making appointments, calendar, all those things. Like, that's neat. It's a skill, and every entrepreneur needs it. And there's only so much AI that will do it, right? I mean, that's coming into play now, but it's still, you still need someone on the other side working with you, you know, so.
Definitely.
Yay team.
Yay team.
Yay team.
Well, he's
awesome.
got a big head now.
No way.
Huh?
Well, Jason, appreciate you making some time for us.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man.
Absolutely.
For my co-host Amy, my boy Jack on the ones and twos,
Jack, getting jacked,
and our guest Jason Watson. I'm Quentin Glenn. Thank you for joining us on Building Insight. See you next time.
That's good.